Alright folks, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. It's always a pleasure to see you. Back to business today. We've got 3 new tournaments. It's time for some clay court tennis, is it not? We'll waste no time in getting into these ones. Before we do, like the video for me if you would. Get yourself subscribed to the channel. If you're not, I'd appreciate it if you did. Trying to make a push on 800, so see if we can get to that by the end of these ones. I'm pretty sure we can. If you want to support the channel, there's a link in the description and the pinned comment, along with the pics and the timestamps and the outrights. Yeah, that's it. Back on it. A couple of outrights for you here. Only a sprinkle. A couple of them are each way as well. So for those that don't know what that is, if they win the tournaments, you get the full lot. If you get to the final, you get, I think it's half. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on it. Depends on what you use. But yeah, it's enough of that. First things first, Djokovic and Mensik still hasn't happened. Still waiting for the Miami Open final. I know, rather disappointing to say the least, but what can you do? The weather's shite in it. Not too much you can do about that. It should be done today. Surely that should be done today. I'd be surprised if it's not. You can't drag that out much longer. I wouldn't have imagined so anyway. But yeah, 3 tournaments, folks. We've got one in Romania, we've got Bucharest, we've got Marrakech over in Morocco, and then we've got Houston. Still in the States, but we're on the clay. Only a couple of games to start us off in each one. We are still going through the last of qualifying in all of them, maybe not all of them, 2 of them, definitely. I think we may be done with qualifying over in the States, but there's definitely qualifying matches left over here, so we'll start off with the early games. We've got Laszlo Djere versus Mariano Navone. This is over in Bucharest. Odds are pretty much split right down the middle. Maybe not. We're getting Laszlo Djere as a slight favourite. 1.75, around 1.8. Now, before we even start with this one, Navone, some of you may remember, he got to the final here last year. That's right. Fairly decent run. Who did he beat? Where's his run? Let's check that out one sec. Darderi, Sabo Field, Sarundalo, Gregoire Barret, and then he got beat by Martin Fuskovics in the final. Good stuff, good stuff. Have you seen how good Laszlo Djere's been at the moment? He's won 9 of his last 10. He got beat by Joao Fonseca in Buenos Aires. That's his last loss. That's the only loss he's had in his last 10. You remember that? Over in Argentina. Very close game. He's just won the title. Yeah, he won the Santiago title. He beat Sebastian Baez in the final. That was the start of this month. Hasn't played since. Pretty much had the month off. Navone last time out, he got beat by Sonego and then Shelton before that. I expected nothing less on them American hard courts. Even his little stint on the clay so far this season, probably not saying much. 4-3. Okay, there's a very small sample size to go off. Laszlo Djere 10-1 on the clay so far this season. Now Laszlo Djere might be a little bit of a sleeper to take this title. I'm not too sure. I might look at it, I might not. I just, you'd look at his recent form and go, he's played a lot of tennis. He hasn't. He did, and it barely came into this month. He's not played the game all month. So fitness should not be an issue in this one. I don't know. Navone's tricky, man. He's a really good clay court player. Like I said, he did reach the final last year. I think Laszlo Djere at that price, 1.8, if you can get that might be very tempting for me. I can't deny the form. The way he's played on the clay so far this year, he's given me no reason to go against him. So I don't know. Maybe take him just for a set parlay piece. Anyone? I don't know. If I've got anything pinned, it's pinned. If it's not, it's not. Might just use this first round to just chill on the outrights and whatnot. I have to remind us every time. First round's insane on this ATP tour. You've got to see who wants to be here and who doesn't. We've got Nishesh, Basavaredi, and then who's this kid here? Gianni Philip Christian. I'm not even going to pretend like I'm familiar with this guy. I do apologise. Nishesh. We know what we're going to get on the hard court, but we have never seen him play on the clay. He's been playing on the tour since 2021, is that? And he's went 1-2 on the clay in the meanwhile. Yeah, that's nothing. That is not enough. Nothing to go off. We know he's decent on the hard court. How is he going to deal with the transition? I'm not too sure. His opponent on the other hand, though, I mean, he's been playing since 2016, 252 wins, 165 losses on the clay. Now that does stand for something, does it not? Even on the hard court, Nishesh wasn't exactly beating like the best of opponents. You know, Stefan Kozlov, James Duckworth, qualifying opponents. Beat by El Chapo, beat by Boo. Took a set off Djokovic in the Australian Open, beat by Monfils. Playing a lot better at the start of the season than what he's been as of late. He's a very slight favourite in this too. I mean, odds are pretty much identical with the one before. 1.7 for Nishesh, you'd be very tempted with that. But he might play like absolute trash on this surface, we don't know. I'd be willing to bet he doesn't. He should be able to get it done based on class alone, but we'll see. We'll see. As always, folks, if you've got anything for any of these, please do let me know in the comments. Best bets, all that. And then last one over here, we've got Botic, Van der Sandschulp, Richard Gasquet. We're getting Van der Sandschulp at 1.3. Quite a big favourite. The head-to-head is 2-0 to the Dutchman. I don't really need to talk about this one. Van der Sandschulp's a tricky one, and we've just seen him beat Djokovic. And then he got beat by Cerundolo. Before he beat Djokovic, he got beat by Matteo Gigante in straight sets. He's very, very hard to get a read on. Some may say impossible. Richard Gasquet, though, I mean, it's 2025. You can't be fucking. There's not many opportunities arise to bet on Richard Gasquet anymore. Even for you to just say, you know what, I think he wins this. I don't. He's won what? That's 2 games all season. One against Manarino in France, and then one against Charles Breen in the Pau Challenger. No, I'm sorry. It's not personal either. Like, Richard Gasquet's had one hell of a career. I've said this so many times. I just wouldn't trust him. Even if it did, it would be Van der Sandschulp or nothing. But we'll crack on to Morocco. Fucking hell, these are going to be quick as well. There's only 3 here. Carbias Baena versus... Ew. I'm not even gonna... Oh yeah. Carbias Baena is playing 1.01. Get the fuck out of here. We'll move on. Fabio Fognini to... Yep, 2. Fabio Fognini is playing Rafael Collignon. That's a lot better than the first one, getting Collignon around 1.5. Fabio Fognini, same as what I've just said for Richard Gasquet. Pretty much, I don't trust this guy anymore. He's still got a bit more left. I'd give him that. He's still got a couple wins left in him. He can be tricky on the day. You know, we're not in Italy yet, so I wouldn't be taking Gasquet just as a punt, rather. Collignon, he's just won a title. He won the Power Challenge, and then he went for back-to-back titles. He went for the Lugano title as well. Ended up getting beat in the final by Bona Koric. Not too bad. I think Collignon, what is that, 105-37 on the clay since 2020. That's quite decent. 50-8 last year. Yeah. I think it might be Collignon on the money line for this one, folks. He has been beat by Vic Capriva in his the last time out. Bona Koric in the final. He's won 8 of his last 10. One of the losses coming in the final, and then, you know, maybe we could chalk the one to Vic Capriva off to fatigue. I'm not so sure. I'll be willing to bet he gets it done against Fabio Fognini. Yeah, I don't trust that guy that much anymore, especially if we're not in Italy. Wait till we get to Rome. We've got Alexander Vukic. Is that Hugo Dellien? Oh, fuck. Yeah. It's mad when we come over to the clay, isn't it? You know, these are the players that we, I'm not going to use the word fade, but you just stay away from them on the hard court. And then come on to this, the 1.5 favourites. You know, Alexander Vukic, I mean, you know, he's not exactly a clay court player. He went 5 and 9 last year. 96, 73 overall since 2012. That's not that good compared to his opponents, who's 534 wins, 276 losses on the clay. Who are you going to trust? Hugo Delino will beat him. I know he will. Vukic has won 3 of his last 10. He's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game losing streak. Not good enough. Not good enough. If you're not playing good enough on your preferred surface, I highly doubt you're going to transition well to this. I'd probably just say Hugo Delino to win if I was betting it. But like most of these, I'm not picking them with much conviction. I feel like we start ripping the meat off the bone either tomorrow or, as always, come round 2. But we'll crack on. We're probably the more interesting ones of the day. Over in the States, first off, we've got Christian Garin and Richard. Not this one, by the way. I've got no interest in this whatsoever. Christian Garin. I don't know. I don't know how much, or if I don't know how much I expect from Christian Garin anymore. 1.4 to 1.5. Maybe it's just the way it's going to go for today, and at least the first round, I'd say. Alexander Richard, is he much of a clay player? 224, 123 since 2009. It's alright. It's not bad. I mean, Christian Garin's what, 311, 187. Not giving us much to go off here. You probably would just go with Christian Garin if you had to pick this. Although, like I said, he's most noticeably took a dip. Well, I noticed it last season anyway. 22 and 26 on the year. Nah, you just don't know what you're gonna get. I don't know what I'm gonna get from Christian Garin, so I'll move on to Alex Michelsen and Lena Tien. We've seen this one, haven't we? We've seen this one not that long ago in the next gens. Lena Tien got that one done, 3-2. Now, same with Nishesh. I don't think we've seen Lena Tien play on the clay. No, 3 and 4 since the start of his career. He went 0 and 1 last year. What's he gonna be like? I'm not too sure. Seems to have been we've seen him struggle a little bit on the hard court, which is undoubtedly his preferred surface. It's all he plays on. I say struggle, I mean getting beat by Thomas Mahatch. I didn't think he'd do anything there. Getting beat by Navone the way he did at Indian Wells was rather disappointing, to say the least. And then the one to Fonseca, he played a lot better against Fonseca over in Miami than what he did against Navone. We can give him that. Alex Michelsen hasn't been that great lately. Well, he did have to pull out against Medvedev, and then he got beat by Ugo Carabelli 2-1 over in Miami. I think safe to say we've seen a lot more from Lena Tien the past couple of weeks than Alex Michelsen. I mean, Alex Michelsen's what, 11 and 8 on the season. Lena Tien 11 and 6. Very small sample size from Michelsen on the clay court. Never really see him, and even when it did last year, he was rather crap. Who'd you go with, yeah? Who'd you go with? I'm not going to say neither, like they can't play on the clay, because they obviously can, but they'd rather not play on the clay. You know, I think it's safe to assume that. You just go with Alex Michelsen in this one. Is this just like a revenge spot for Alex Michelsen? I'm not too sure. I haven't got a clue what's going to happen with that one. This really is a first round match, if anything. I don't know. I'm not too sure. We'll just crack on to what's the next one? Is this the last one? I don't know if there's more like filtering through on the order of play. They best not be. And I've missed them out. I'll be fucking fuming as there is. But there's one more anyway. Even if the order of play does filter through, I've only missed what, one or two. We'll sweep them up in the next video. Don't worry about it. But we'll finish this off with Kovacevic and Echeverri. Now Echeverri is 1.4, 1.45 on the decimal. I expected something around that. Kovacevic just won the. He just won a challenger title. Is that Capcania? Capcania? How do you pronounce that? I mean, every time we speak about Kovacevic, well, ever since France, is it just going to be the same? You know, if he plays the way he did in France, he can be pretty much the best of them, as we've seen. He played really, really good to get the title there. Beat some decent names as well: Bellucci, Wong, Altmaier, Muller, Demir, Dezuma in the final. And he's just been beat by Kekmanovic in straight sets, first round in Miami, 6-4, 6-4. Fatigue, perhaps. You know, there's only, what, 3 days in between. Last time we seen him go deep in a tournament, he was rather shit for a little bit after that. So that does concern me. Echeverri is back on the clay where he belongs. You know, he loves it on this, doesn't he? 20-12 last year, 26-14, 49-25 the year before. You get me point. You get me point. He's been fairly decent on the hard court too, so I'm expecting him to be even better on this. And he's got quite a decent little draw as well. If he can get past Kovacevic, I think he can get rather deep in this one. So I'm not going to waste much more time going on about these ones. It's the first round after all, folks. We've got to see who wants to be here and who doesn't. You know, you all should know about that by now. Very well then. Sound. I'll be saying good night to you, folks. Yeah, you take it easy. You take care of yourselves. You take care of one another. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it if you did. Right then. Still can't wait to watch this Djokovic game. Should be a banger. Don't know, I've seen a picture of him before. He's been like punched in the face, or has he took like a fucking forehand to the eye? I don't know, his eye was all swollen. Go and have a look on Twitter. But right then, I'll be seeing you in a bit, folks. Let's hope we can keep that streak alive. Still on 6 in a row. Hoping Djokovic can make it 7, and then hopefully we can ride that into this. But until then, let's go get that cash, yeah. Best of luck to you. Enjoy the matches, and I'll see you tomorrow.